guys miss me? I know it's only been a few days, but I missed you guys so much. Stay tuned. We got a banger coming up, guys. What's up, guys? It's your girl Jasmine, and I'm back with another video in full effect, honey. Today is a very important topic we're covering. We're gonna be talking about red flags. So make sure you guys gather everybody you need to gather so they can all hear about this as well, because this is very important. And really quickly, as usual, if you guys like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you have not done so already. And we're about to get into this article because I can't wait. A red flag, by definition, is something used as a warning sign, usually. So the same applies for relationships, right? So when you meet somebody for the first time, you start to get to know them and you start to see their patterns and how they, interact with you as a person, or their interpersonal skills and things like that. And that's how you learn what you like, what you don't like, what's alarming. What's alarming is them red flags. So we're definitely going to talk about what a few red flags are. And then maybe I might have a story. Maybe. So I would definitely say, if you just meet somebody, a guy or a girl, and they call you too much right off the back, that's a red flag. For whatever reason, they're clingy to you, or they have some kind of issues, and right off the back, you should be able to tell that that is not going to be a good sign. Because if they're doing that right off the bat, think about how it's going to be if you do decide to get into a relationship with them and you go further on. It'll get worse. They'll start blowing up your phone eventually, which is another red flag. If somebody is blowing up your phone, that person has some kind of control issue. So that's another red flag right off the back. And they both tie into each other because they have something to do with the phone. If they're calling you too much right off the back, and if they're blowing up your phone right off the back, red flags. And by calling too much, what I mean is, I was talking to this guy one time. And we were just talking. We were not in a relationship. I had actually told him I wasn't ready to be in a relationship. We had our little vibe going, and we were talking and things like that. But I was hanging out with my best friend one day, and I would speak to him, sporadically while we were hanging out. And then I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna call you back, whatever. No lie, it was like maybe 40 minutes later. Every 40 minutes, he would keep calling me. And I would be like, that's one thing I'm major about. If I say I'm going to call you back, let me call you back. I might actually be doing something important. And we were shopping, and she was getting her nails done. That's important. So that was a red flag for me, because I was like, why are you calling me so much? We're not together. We're not in a relationship. And then when it comes to blowing up my phone, when I do eventually answer your call, if I decide to answer your call, I'm going to be annoyed. So the first thing I'm going to say is, what's the emergency? It's one thing if I know you for years, something else if you're my boyfriend. But if I'm just talking to you, there is no reason, absolutely no reason why you should be blowing up my phone if I'm just talking to you. That's possessive and controlling, and that's a red flag. One of my personal favorites as well was definitely if you stop hearing from a person at a certain time of day. How many times have you guys been in a situation where you're talking to somebody and you guys are just getting into the groove of things, and you like them and they like you and all this other stuff, and you guys text back and forth all day, or you talk all day on the phone, or whatever the case may be, but then 7 o'clock, 7:30 comes and nothing. That happened to me too once. So to me, that's a red flag because that's indicative that you have something else going on. Why is it that I could talk to you all day while you're at work or, you know, out in the street doing what you're doing, and then 7 o'clock, 7:30 hits, and I hear nothing from you? You got a girlfriend. You got a wife. You have a baby mama living with you. You got something going on. Red flag. That's a red flag. Definitely. Another one is definitely an aggressive nature. If a person has an aggressive nature, that's a red flag, because with aggressively natured people, that can always turn abusive. So that's never a good thing. You know, if right off the back you notice that they play too much with their hands, or they're just grabbing you up too much, or they're violent with you, but not violent outright, but violent in a sense that of the way they speak to you or the way that they handle you. Like I said, if they're grabbing on you and things like that, man or woman, if you have an aggressive nature, that's a red flag as well. So if you notice that right off the back, ladies and gentlemen, you might want to leave that situation as well. If a person is too clingy or dependent on you, that is a red flag, honey, because that indicates that that person is a void filler. A void filler is constantly looking for something new to make them happy. So whether it be a new apartment, a new car, a new job, a new boyfriend, a new girlfriend, that means they can't be happy with just themselves. So therefore, they're looking for something or someone to make them happy all the time. Now, that's a red flag, because eventually that'll turn into manipulation. And you don't want to deal with somebody who's going to manipulate you into feeling bad all the time. And that definitely will happen. Think about it. If they're constantly looking for something new to make them happy, and you're supposed to be that person that's coming along that's supposed to make them happy, when you don't make them happy, imagine how they're going to come down on you and manipulate you into making you feel like you're the bad guy. Manipulation. Every single time, that's a red flag. My perfect example of manipulation is definitely the one that I used in the 5 types of women to avoid video. Now I had said, let's say I'm upset. I'm trying to address the same issue that my boyfriend and I address all the time. It's something that is weighing heavy on my mind, and I address it all the time with him. And I'm like trying to bring the issue up again, and he's like, babe, I really don't want to talk about this right now. Like, I'm not doing this right now. And I'm just like, you know what, fine, never listen to me. I'm just gonna go cry myself to sleep like I always do, because you don't listen to me. Now, there's a few things wrong with that. Me crying myself to sleep, if that naturally happens, that's because of how I felt. I was upset enough to cry myself to sleep. But if I voice to him that that's what I'm gonna do, I'm trying to manipulate him into feeling bad enough to do what I'm asking him to do, which is to talk about the issue and address it. And that's manipulative. And that'll always be manipulative, for the simple fact that you can't say what you're gonna do before you do it. Or like the same thing as me saying, you know what, I'm just gonna go slit my wrist in the tub. Nobody cares about me anyway. So he'll be like, all right, babe, you know, let's just talk about it. For the sake of keeping the peace, he's making that sacrifice. Red flag, manipulation. Don't deal with a manipulator, people. If a man or a woman is trying to portray single in your face, like a single persona, but then they have this one person they constantly are still in cahoots with, they're still attached to that person, and that's a red flag. The red flag being, obviously, you're trying to have your cake and eat it too. So what good are you really going to be to me in a relationship or a situation if we're not even, let's say, in a relationship yet, and you're already lying to me about being single? Red flag. That's a big one nowadays too. Now, everybody has something about them that you're not gonna like naturally. If you just start dating somebody, as you spend time with that person and you get to know them, you're going to see things about them that you don't like. That's natural. Just like they're gonna see things about you that they don't like. It's natural. However, red flags jump out at you like a deer on a dark road, honey. And a lot of times, some of us don't swerve to miss it. We hit it and we continue to deal with it years and years and years later until it turns into a toxic situation. And that's the problem. Because 9 times out of 10, we ignore red flags because of love, because of lust, whatever it is, you know, about that person that draws us in so much. And 9 times out of 10, I feel like a red flag, a person that carries or comes with a lot of red flags is toxic. And for some reason, toxic people can be addictive sometimes. So where, you know, we as people sometimes are just excited like by that whole toxic nature. But realistically speaking, it's not a good thing. It's not. A red flag, like I said in the beginning, guys, is something there to warn you. Ignoring a red flag because you're in love with that person, do not do that. It will cause a toxic situation in the end, almost always. That is it, guys. That's all I have today about red flags, but I'm sure we'll address it again at some point. There's so many of them, it's crazy. So if you guys like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. If you're not following me on IG, you can hit me up at love_N_lust_and until next time, bye guys.